is everyone? Sorry. Getting everything in order. How distracting is the traffic noise outside? Oh, sorry. Apparently, this is still on. And without diving into politics, I'll note I'm not recovered from last night's We Need Bourbon Day marathon, but I'm so stinking close to finishing the Yak Seagull Commission. Cool. And I've got drinking water delivery, thank you. It's a really gorgeous day out. Like, it's probably the last day that we can really have our windows open, so I'm trying to keep them going right now. Sorry. So you will be hearing traffic. If it gets distracting, I can close the windows in this room. So what I've got here, let's turn this over the correct way, is because it's a beautiful autumn day, I went outside and I collected a bunch of leaves. So they're in with some wet paper towels in here. But I've got a whole bunch of autumn leaves. And so I'm going to talk about maple leaf identification, like different kinds of maples and how to tell them apart. So I've got just like dozens of maple leaves in here because, you know, whatever, gotta be Canadian. And yeah, I had a different video planned for today, but I decided that it would be cool to get some autumn leaves while I can. So I went out for a walk, which is why I'm late. We went out for a walk, enjoyed the beautiful weather, and then these, this is one of the sketchbooks from the Botanical Artists of Canada Sketchbook Exchange. So a whole bunch of us received sketchbooks, and then each of us filled in a page. Oops, sorry, I'm trying to figure out which way around this goes. Each of us filled in a page, and then, oh, sorry, I should cover that up. So each of us filled in some sketchbook pages, so all Botanical Artists of Canada members, and then so each one of us fills a page and then sends the sketchbook to the next person, and so each person starts with the sketchbook and ends with their sketchbook back. So this one isn't mine, it's the second to last one, and I'm just putting in my painting now. So these are some of the artwork by other people here. Hi, Kelly. Yeah, so I have my spread to do in this sketchbook now, and I'll be doing that here with you. So here are some beautiful sketches by other people. Really, really lovely. All different things. And then the sketchbook exchange was paused for a while because of the pandemic, but we've started it up again. And this is Gerard Brenner Brandis, and now my page. Yeah. So I'll be sketching some maple leaves on these 2 pages. But first I wanted to do a little show and tell with how to tell apart maple leaves. So here I have my bag of leaves. And let's grab this whole handful of all the leaves in here. Hi Dan, we're talking about maple leaves today, and I'm going to be sketching some leaves. So this one's not actually a maple leaf, I don't think. It's something else, but I'm not sure what it is. Or maybe it's just a very deformed maple leaf, but I'm not really sure. This one is sort of unique. Most of the rest of these are maple leaves or things that I know what they are, but they aren't maples. Anyway, so let's start. This is a Canadian, like a sugar maple. So if you look at the Canadian flag, these are the leaves that we have on our Canadian flag. So it's a very common species here. And so this one's also a sugar maple here. All of the Canadian species of maples, so sugar maples, red maples, silver maples, all have 5 points. So maple leaves are called palmate leaves. And so palmate basically means when you have the central stem here, and then you have these main stems that come out in different directions. So palmate leaves, like maple leaves, can have different numbers of these stems. So the North American varieties, as far as I know, all of them have 5. So this is a sugar maple. And so you have these little small points here, 1, 2, and then the bigger points, 3, 4, and 5. So this is a sugar maple. This one is also a sugar maple. That's the leaves that you'll see on the Canadian flag. But we also see frequently leaves like these 2. And this is not a native Canadian maple. This is a Norway maple, and you'll see that there are more different palms, different fingers basically. So you have these little ones. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's a Norway maple. And so you can tell apart what's native to North America versus what's not that way. So then you have something like this, which is a much longer, it has much longer little leaf sections. Like each of these little fingers is much longer and skinnier, but you'll see it still has 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a silver maple. The weird one, could it be a sweet gum tree? I'm not sure. I picked it up and I was kind of in a rush to get back here because I was already late for the live stream. So I might go back and find it and see what's around, because I just saw this one leaf. It's much leatherier than regular maple leaves. It was mixed in with a bunch of maple leaves, but I don't think it belongs to the same tree. But at the same time, I didn't see the tree or the bush that it fell from, and I was in too much of a rush to go looking, so I don't really know what this is. So yeah, so then this is also probably some kind of hybrid, I think, this one. But again, it's got its 5 main points, 5 main stems. So this will be more related to a native species to North America. Then you have these guys. And these have 5, but they are not native to here. This is a European field maple with these rounded edges. So this is a European field maple. What else do I have? I have a whole bunch. So here we have some more silver maple type things. Another silver maple. Another silver maple. Another silver maple. They come in all different colors too. Like, so these are all autumn leaves, but you'll see that they change colors to very different things. This would be related to a Norway maple, but it's not just a Norway maple. I'm not really sure what this is, again, because it's much pointier, like, or, yeah. This is like more related to a Norway maple, but you see how this one's much blunter and this one's much pointier, so I'm not really sure what this one's called. But I know it's not native to Canada. Here we have another sugar maple. They change colors very differently, so that's somewhat dependent on species and somewhat dependent on like the soil. So some, depending on the nutrients in the soil, they'll be more red or more yellow. So for example, red maples, these guys, they're like longer. They look like sugar maples, basically, but they're more elongated. So these are red maples, and they usually have these redder leaves, but you know, sometimes depending on soil, they'll still come out yellow. Then you have something like this. I don't really know what this one is. And then you have things that aren't maples at all. They're just imposters. Like these look sort of like maples. They have the similar sort of pointy palmate leaves, but if you look at the stem, you can see it better with this one. See how there's like a little, it's like a circle or a hexagon, and how these ones have just like I'll hold it up closer to the camera. See the difference between the two stems? So this is a sycamore. It's not related to a maple very closely at all. It just has a similar shape of leaves. There is something called a sycamore maple, which is a maple that looks like a sycamore. But this one's actually a sycamore. Hi, Stephen. It is 25 degrees today. Yes, it is. So I went for a walk and I collected all sorts of different leaves to talk about leaf identification and sketch some leaves, because it seemed like a nice thing to do on a really nice day. So yeah, so then I have some more of the red maples, and then I have this, which this one's kind of bunched up, but this is called a tulip tree, and it is a native tree. Again, not related to a maple, but it kind of looks like a maple that had its central stalk ripped out. Tulip trees are so unique. Yeah, they're like super, super weird. Okay, so yeah, these are a whole bunch of leaves that I have, and I figured I would paint some leaves in the back sketchbook today, if that's something you all would be interested in seeing. Oh, I also found some of these things, which I don't know what they are, but they're pretty cool. Burning bush, maybe? I don't know. So I think I'm going to start with this one, because it's like super weird pattern. Hi, Sally. Sweet gums look more like stars. Yeah, so we're trying to figure out what this is because it's not, it's like much leatherier than the maples. It's unlike any maple I've ever seen, really, but it's still got that palmate shape. I'm gonna go back to where I found it and see whether I could maybe find like the plant that it came from. I was kind of in a rush when I picked this up. We went for a short walk to really enjoy the weather because it's a really, really beautiful day out. And so I thought it would be a good opportunity to find some like really interesting leaves and share that with you all. But I had a meeting right before this, like from 12 to 1. So then I took a quick walk outside, picked up some leaves, and came back. So yeah, this doesn't really look like a sweet gum either, but I don't really know what it is. It feels like really thick and leathery. Yeah. So yeah, that was my little botany lesson. I'm not an expert by any means, but I enjoyed that. Anyway, actually, I guess I'll give you guys a choice. Does anyone have like a specific type of leaf or color that you'd like me to start with? I'll probably do a few of them. Leaf Palooza time, yep. Any preferred colors or just go for it? This one has some interesting ends to it. This one's interesting, but it'll probably last longer than some of the others. This one's got some interesting patterning to it. Sometimes people have trouble with yellows. I could do a yellow. There is kind of a PY150 vibe in some of those leaves. How about the yellow with the black spots? Like this big guy? Or this one? Or do you mean smaller yellow spots like this guy? These spots? These are called tar spots. They're a bacterial infection. And I wanted to do, they show up pretty frequently on maple leaves around here. And I thought I was going to do, for a piece, I thought I was going to do a red maple with these spots, but looking around, they're almost always on Norway maples. Okay, do you want me to do this? This could be interesting because there's a bunch of the black spots. And it's green, but there's some yellow. Maybe the indigenous species is more resistant to it. Yeah, I guess. But I'm not gonna, like, since I can't seem to find any red maples with the spots on them, I thought it would be pretty cool for one of the compositions I was planning, but I'm not seeing any of the red maples. Like, it's always the Norway maples that I see with them, so I'm assuming that the Norway maples are more prone to it. Okay, cool. I'll do that green one. Green and yellow. And tar spots. Oh! Or, turns out I forgot one. So between these two. Left or right? I like that Mandelbrot leaf there. Okay, well, we can start that one later. I'm gonna put most of them back into the Ziploc bag with the, there's like a wet paper towel in here, and that'll keep them from crunching up and getting like really dull and dry. So they'll stay nice and fresh until I'm ready to work with them. Okay. All right. How long will they keep in that bag? A few days? I could put them in the fridge and they'd last a bit longer. But if I leave them out, you'll see like within, like certainly within within an hour, they'll start like really crunching up. You can spritz them or like dip them into water and it helps a little. But they'll just dry right up when they're out in like in an indoor environment. And then they'll turn into like more like this pretty quickly. And they actually like really visibly shrink. So it's a bit of a challenge. Like if you're going to be painting leaves, you can even like measure and make sure that you're drawing the right size, and then you'll partway through drawing you'll realize that the leaf is like down to half the size. It's really remarkable. But in the bag with the wet paper towel, they'll probably keep, like they would keep a couple days just out. They'd keep a bit longer if I put the whole thing in the fridge, without any like really noticeable changes. Okay, green black spots. All right, we're gonna do this. And I'm gonna, clear some space on here. Right. New ID got. I'm good to vote. Oh, sorry, I'm seeing notifications from something else. Anyway, so I'm going to move some stuff out of the way and set myself up to start painting, I think. So let's see about giving you guys I'm gonna bring this up a little and move these further out here. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure that you get all of the important stuff in the shot. You're not important. And we can put this one in. And we can, let's see, thread you onto here, maybe. want to raise this so that I can see it. Ideally give you an angle where you can see something remotely related to what I'm seeing. But what if I thread it this way? Aha! Then I can, no. No, that's really looking down at me. Alex, is that like MAGA 2020? Is that your password for everything? Do you need to change it now? Okay. Okay. What am I doing? Okay. Yeah, maybe I'll just tilt it just up a little. It's been a while since I've done this. Okay. Okay. All right. Maybe that's it. Maybe if I just put it here. There we go. There we have, just trying to like not have it just like completely straight and looking straight at me, you know? Let's give you a bit of an interesting, there we go. That'll work. I was teasing, you don't need to tell me what you're... I have a lock screen on my computer, it's just ASDF, but occasionally I'll type in somewhere like Discord, and I'll just be like typing in my lock screen, and it'll catch on the Discord, and so like I'll just type ASDF, it doesn't matter, it's just a lock screen, but leaf placement looks good, perfect. All right, so that's that. And yeah, now let's open up to a page here. For those of you who haven't seen, this is my, I put a plastic cover on my swatch sheet for my palette here. And check out this really neat, check out this really neat acrylic cover that I've got for my palette now. Super shrank. Blue tacky or kneadable eraser to hold it. Yeah, I don't have any handy. Did kind of look around for like, what do I have that's sticky, but it's fine. We're all good. Okay, let's see. Let's find me a pencil. Lovely messy palette. Yeah, lovely messy life right now. Okay, here's a pencil. Hi, Suzanne. Okay, so next. So I think I'm just gonna start here. And so with maple leaves, I'm gonna start by drawing those central veins. So that palm, basically, and try to get the angles and lines of those right. Hi, Paula. I'm glad the acrylic cover survived Neuron helping. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's really nice and solid. Let's get these bright lights a little higher. I miss the hum of regular traffic. We're on a quiet street now. I wish we were on a quiet street. Right across the street is, like, the street we're actually on is pretty quiet, but we sort of back onto a much busier street. Like our property line, our property is not very deep, and neither is the house behind us. So most of the traffic you're hearing is actually coming from the other side. But very, very urban. Someday we might be able to afford to live somewhere actually quiet. To be honest, I'm actually pretty okay with the noise, but my husband gets really annoyed by it. Anyway, so the main goal here, I am drawing the edges of the leaves. The main goal is to identify where these main 5, or 7 in this case, little palms go. And then I'll fill each of them in individually, and the boundaries between them will create the veining. And then in subsequent layers, I'll do the same thing for the smaller veins. Years ago, I lived 26 floors up in Toronto at 401 and Don Valley Parkway. That was a very mellow pink noise most of the time. I remember being little and Papa Snaps teaching us how to recognize different car models and different Model fire trucks, etc. That Mustang there is a 1967. Child Alex was like, how do you know? I mean, to be honest, I still can't tell apart cars. just gave you a lecture on telling apart leaves, but like, cars? No idea. Well, I'm glad that it's not bothering you in any case, because I'm really enjoying the nice breeze. That's like not going to be a thing that I can enjoy for very much longer. It's going to get really cold here soon. Yep, I think this one should be a little bit longer. So sometimes there's just a little bit of editing. I'm trying to draw softly so that it doesn't... Oh my goodness, neighbors. There's regular traffic, and then there's that... whatever that is. Machinery. All right, so I'm gonna start painting, and then I can fix up the rest of this later. So, some orange on this brush. But, Stephen was mentioning that he thought there was some nickel azo in some of these leaves, and absolutely right. So that's what I'm going to start with. Is just, I've got some green here that I've already mixed. I'm just not going to worry about it. I'm going to throw a bunch of nickel azo like right in here because this is an autumn leaf. Like if it's a little mixed, I mean it wouldn't matter anyway because I'm just going to put a really thin wash on here. But you'll see what I'm gonna do is just paint in, just a really light wash. This is wet on dry. I could also do this as a wet and wet wash, but I'm giving myself just a little bit more control by doing this wet on dry. It's a fairly even wash that I'm going to put down first, although I will vary it a little bit to try to get some of the shadow variation. So for example here, I'm going to start on these edges. And I'm painting around these veins, but I don't have to be really perfect about it at all, because this will all get fixed in future layers. You'll see like I picked up a little bit more of the orange here, which wasn't really deliberate, but it's also not a problem. And then I'll wipe this off, and whoop. Let this be a little bit more white. Pick this up. I'm going to drop in a little bit more along here. And just putting a wash basically over nearly the whole area. And it's fine because we'll fix the color in future layers, but we're just trying to break out the white at this point, and start working to define the main ribs, the main stems of the leaves, so those palm shapes. So again, this edge will be a little bit darker. This is also just a sketch, so, you know, it doesn't really need to be perfect or anything. And then, I could wait to do this, but I'm also just going to put in just a drop of green along some of the edges that are going to be definitely very green. And this is quite bright here, but it's fine because I like having a little bit more of the color already defined. Val says, wanted to stop by and say hi, currently on online classes. Hi Val, how are you? How are your online classes going? Okay, so that's that. And you'll see that I left this, so I painted this one in, and I painted this one in, but I left this middle one blank. and then I'll come back and add that in later. You'll also notice that I haven't done anything about the tar spots just yet. I'll add those in later. So then I'll skip one and I'll do this. Probably should have started on the other end because this is going to be like super awkward to paint into here. But that's okay. And then we're just gonna drop just a little bit of this in here. A tiny bit. Oops, that's quite a bit. But it doesn't really have to be perfect at all. Because a lot of this is going to be added in later, these deeper colors. And then here, I want to make sure where we're going to have those yellow veins that I don't have any of the green. So we're just going to push it out to here. So yeah, so then I'm just going to leave that one. I'll do this next section here. Make sure that I have all of the bits the way I want them. There, that'll do. And then again, here we're gonna start doing this and get some edges, and then we're gonna charge in here. Get some more of this yellow. And then a little bit more water. And a little bit more water. Yep. So you'll see I am defining these veins, but they're not perfect yet. It's fine because they'll just be, as I build up more layers, I can fix that up. Yeah, these look lovely so far. Thanks, Alex. Okay, so now I'm going to do this one because this has almost dried. So it's dry enough that unless I really screw up, it's not going to charge in and screw up the next one. So I can fill this in. Pick up a little bit of that green just to define this a little bit better. And then add some water over here to get this shape beginning to be defined. See, this sound I quite like, this wind rustling through the tree out front. That's great. There's some factory sounds to go with it. Okay. Oh, nope. Edge this back up. Come on, stay. What is the green in there with the 150? I'm not sure what this originally was, because it's just mess from my palette. I've been dabbing in little bits of phthalo turquoise though. So this is PB16 that I've dotted in here. But then there's also some green that I mixed earlier that I don't even know what it is anymore. And there's just going to be a little bit of that. Oh, sorry. Here we're going to need to have a lot more of this. Pushing that away. I was a little tentative with the first few of these that I did. Because I haven't painted leaves in a while. I think I'm doing better with this section where I'm putting more variation in. Oh well. It's fine. What are you all working on now? Okay, so that's that. And then we can start putting on a second layer. So like for example here, I can start dividing down along these major secondary veins. So I'm going to take down a little bit. Paula says this is already looking so nice on it. Thank you. Alex says, I don't want to say pretending to do work, but I've been saving my not turbo brain heavy stuff for Friday afternoons. Aw, thanks. I guess. Anyway, yeah, sorry. Sorry, I'm just, speaking of not turbo heavy brain stuff, I'm just trying to make sure that I'm not letting this dry. So that I can get this all done. So now I'm making the edges, like these yellow edges around the tar spots. Sort of defining those, and then I'll add the tar spots in after. But there's like a deeper yellow edge, and I want to make sure that those are all where I need them to be. Suzanne says, Seagull's gesture drawing for Newcastle Lights nature journaling course. That's really cool. Alex says, anyone doing good things this weekend? I'm not sure. My brother-in-law's renovating his house. My husband has been helping him, and I don't know what step they're at, but at some point, either this weekend or next, I might end up joining in that effort. If not, then I'll be around for Caturday. I'm enjoying having some time off for once. Sally says, I'm working on the Shenandoah mountain landscape. That sounds really cool, Sally. Sally says, thanks, a friend just got back from a hiking trip there and she had some great photographs. That's wonderful. How are you liking the Newcastle X course, Suzanne? I guess this doesn't really matter because that gets really mostly painted over here, so I can just start. Then I'm gonna throw some of these here and some of that. And some of this up here. Paula says, dang, my connection died briefly. Oh, sorry. Paula, did you get to make your Mayan blue yet? Oh, actually, my little window test fell down from my window across the room, so I can actually show you guys. I'll tape this back up in a moment, but here's my light fastness tests that go in my window. They're blocking out the window beside my computer. Or they were until the wind blew them down because I have my windows open. Paula says, nope, I did not this week. My work schedule was crazy. Okay, cool. Well, I look forward to hearing when you do get a chance. Sorry, Paula. I look forward to hearing when you do get a chance. What your how that goes for you. Okay. And then we can just try to do this. So then let's. I love it. Second time taking it, I push myself by doing stuff I'm not good at. I'm posting it. A good way to burst my ego bubble and get real criticism. Family critics don't count as real. That's awesome. I did it once, and I've considered trying again, but the truth is, like, I have too many projects. So, you know. But it is a great course, and it does work well for repeating, I think. So you can always choose different, it's open-ended enough that you can always choose different projects and learn something new. Yeah, like those yellow and green paint choices, what hues are you using? I have nickel azo yellow is my base yellow for a lot of things. I've been throwing in some phthalo turquoise PB16. And then now when I want to mute them a little, I'm just picking around from my palette where I had a little bit more, and just now I just dropped in some, this is transparent orange from Winsor Newton, that I just mixed in a little bit here to get a more muted sap green. And then a little bit more here. A bit more. Why the hell am I getting emails from former office with pictures of T-Rex casually at work? My brain hurts. Rhetorical question, because I think no one knows why the T-Rex is casually posing himself Sounds weird and fun. Friends, please don't work in healthcare. It does things to people. Health is much better than healthcare. Well, I have to say, just right now, I have some, like, very deep love for my psychiatrist. A newfound respect and appreciation for healthcare workers right this instant in my life. Yeah, let's get some variation in there. Yeah. Okay. Let's get some variation in this one too. Hell yeah. I think they meant to talk about Halloween, but the email doesn't talk about Halloween. Sandy says, that is beautiful. Thank you, Sandy. Okay, let's get this a little tighter. And let's draw some more lines. Separate out. Steven says the local sky is starting to get interesting looking. Yeah, so we are going to have a storm soon. And so then at that point I will have to close my windows again. My husband will come through and close them here if I need to. Although there's a nice overhang in this room, so apart from all my picture frames getting knocked over, it's all good. Paula says, I've been receiving emails about all the students who got COVID. Oh. Oh. Alex says, I mean, if you have a healthcare provider that works, awesome, but it is often a very strange and thankless job. Well, thank you for your service right now. I know that you're not my healthcare worker, but right now I'm feeling very appreciative of healthcare workers, just generally. And so you can have some of that appreciation too, Alex. Okay, I'm gonna try this. So I'm trying different ways of filling in these little areas. Okay, let's try over here. Let's do this section. Da-da-da. There's gonna be a section here. It's gonna be and let's go with in here. Cyan, how are you? I just shipped some stuff to you and to Paulo. Alex says, when people start talking nervously about COVID, I get a slightly dramatic sigh and say, I agree, we gotta stop licking doorknobs, and they usually succeed with the comic relief. Yeah. Yeah, Cyan, you missed a little lecture on identifying maple leaves. I'm like really taking this like being Canadian thing seriously. You know, I did avoid painting leaves for a while. Not like I was still painting a lot of leaves as like parts of other paintings, but just focusing on leaves after I did my daily leaf project. So in 2018, I painted a leaf every single day. And after that, I was like, all right, that's enough leaves as a main subject for a while. But I have to say, I've been kind of missing it. And they're like really fun. Got a lot of weird little patterns in the leaves. I had to Google what maple is in Finnish. Biology was never my strong point. Yeah, I mean, you definitely have native maple trees in Finland. Like this one we call a Norway maple. I'm not sure if it's like originally really only from Norway, but it's definitely European. And there's definitely like maple trees that are native to Europe. Is that just 2 pigments total so far? No, it's more like 4. You suck at painting. Okay, great. Hi. Sorry, Stephen. I have like I have my Nicolazo and my Phthalo turquoise that are a lot of the paint, but I've also picked up a fair bit of. There's a little bit of the transparent orange in some of these areas in here, and then I've also just sort of picked around at palette mud and picked to like make the more muted greens. Suzanne says this is like beautiful, watching magic happen. Beautiful. Thank you. Steven says, I'm fatalistic about what happens if I get COVID, but I take very seriously the idea of trying to contain the spread to others. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I might be okay. I have some health issues. My husband is immunocompromised. He's IgA deficient, and he gets really sick with any kind of respiratory illness. So we're being super careful. I mean, we'd be careful anyway, just out of responsibility to like not get other people sick. But yeah. Fan says palette mud, one of my most used colors. Yeah. So like there's basically 2 colors that I'm using a lot of, and one that I'm using a little bit, and then there's just a lot of palette mud. So for example here, you'll see that there's like a little bit of red here. I think it's the same transparent orange. I'm not sure, but I'm trying to get it a little bit warmer. And so here I'm just gonna dot in some of that around here where I'm gonna have that edge of that tar spot. Oh, was there another nasty post by that person with the nasty posts? I look away from the screen for a moment, and of course a troll shows up. Yeah, well, you know, sometimes there's trolls. Paolo says it is now compulsory to wear masks in the streets at all times. Oh, outdoors. That's interesting. Here it's required to wear masks like in indoor spaces like stores. You missed the troll. I think the troll is only visible if you're a mod. Like I think they got filtered. But yeah. So I removed one of their posts and then I've timed them out. It not worth seeing, but like where I commented at one point, like I read out a comment and it sounded like I was saying insults. It's because I read the troll comment. I wasn't just like being mean to myself. I can't even wear a mask, my breathing is too weak. With the tontus or some breathing pains. I'm painting my Buntober piece, I missed it too. Hey, don't worry about it, it's fine. Yeah, so here we have to wear masks if we're going into like a grocery store or a mall or a school or something, but outdoors we don't have to. So like when I went out for my walk, I didn't wear a mask. Now I still wear a mask if I'm going into a downtown area, but around here, like there's no one else on the street, so what does it matter? I guess that is one advantage too, is the masks were like more unpleasant during the summer, but now that it's gonna be colder, you know, we wrap up and cover our faces in the winter anyway, so it's fine. Indoors, we were always required to wear them, but now the situation is becoming really extreme. Oh, I see. Yeah, I mean, I feel like our local government, like here in Canada, the government is leaving it up to the provinces what they do, and I mean, Ev can speak a little bit more to what the situation is like in Quebec, but in Ontario, our premier is like, he's kind of like, he's not Trump, but he is, you know, this populist, right-wing guy, and he was like pretty serious about COVID for like a little while, but now he's just like, no, everything's fine, you know, whatever, let's reopen schools, it's totally cool. And so now we're in a second wave and it's not great. I use my spandex sphere muffs as a mask, just wear a little differently. I bought a whole bunch of like the sewn, like the cotton masks on Etsy, like a whole bunch of different styles. And the idea was we'll just have like a box by the door and we'll just wash them, and you know, you can always grab one on your way out of the house. It's been alright. Kind of getting used to it. Probably here to stay. Suzanne says baby Trump. Yeah, pretty much. If you remember in the news a while back, the mayor of Toronto was like really in the news, Rob Ford, because he was like a drug addict. Well, this is his drug dealer brother. Ev says I did the same, Lee. Yeah. So we've got like all kinds of like fun patterns where you have like masks that have cats on them and masks that have like cool patterns and stuff. In Finland, we have this mess that we were instructed to not to wear masks in spring and summer. Health organization was like, masks make it worse, and now it's the opposite. Oh, yuck. Yeah, no, here they just said don't wear masks initially because there was an issue where there wasn't enough for like healthcare workers. But I think they made it pretty clear that it wasn't that it's like gonna hurt you. Just, you know, we need to leave them for the healthcare workers, like, and now that that's no longer an issue, everyone wears masks. But also, like, a lot of us are wearing, you know, fabric masks. They're not like N95s or anything. Probably the same here. They just don't want to admit it. Yeah, I mean, this goes back to the whole, like, can you just be honest with people about, like, what the situation is? Like, yes, masks will help you, do wear masks, but don't, like, it's... Can you just be honest with people that, like, no, what we really need to do is preserve masks for healthcare workers, so, like, don't take away from the healthcare workers? I don't know. Because, like, if you mislead people, then yeah. Sally says, looking forward to the next Buntober installment. Yeah, so am I. Oh, apparently I made this too wide. Whoops. Be right back. Needs to wash my work masks. Cool. Okay, so next, let's do this portion. We're done for time. Yeah, so let's get some more of this in here. And some more of this. A bit more of that. Oh, we're getting like weird sunlight through the leaves now. Sorry. So that like really distracting with the weird. I hope you can still see everything clearly. But yeah, so I have a big, my studio has these big south-facing windows, and it's great in the winter because the sun comes right through. And so you get everything in sunlight. During the summer, we have a great big tree in front, a linden, and it just blocks out all the direct light. But this has, like, we're now in fall, and the linden has lost some of its leaves, so now you're getting this dappled stuff coming in through the side. Tornado warnings are growing. Oh, well. Okay, well, if they, hey, what am I doing? Very distracted. That's what I'm doing. Okay, let's wet that all. And then pick this up. We received masks with the university logo this week. Oh, the joy. Do you have to represent? Like, are you allowed to wear other masks? Or do you have to wear the university masks? Okay, I'm gonna let this dry over here for a while, and I'm gonna start adding in some contrast in these. So then what I'm gonna do for the black tar spots is I'm gonna mix myself a really dark near black. So what I'm doing for that is a mix of, this is quinacridone purple, PV55 over here. And then to make my black, I mix it with this here is Perylene green, and these two together, they make like a very, very deep, dark, like purpley blue color. But then with the yellow underneath, it's going to look almost black. And then I can add some other stuff to make it proper black. If that all makes sense. So, first I'm gonna clean this off and draw a circle over here in the area that I want to be my tar spot. I'm gonna give it some edging of some of the yellow where it doesn't already have it. And then I have a Tri-Cities herbal mask. No, not sage. That says, what's that? Weed. Yes. That says, congrats, Val. Oh, right, because Val just finished her class. Val says, today my art teacher gifted me some Faber-Castell watercolor pencils, so I'm excited to play with them. Cool, let me know how that goes. I've never had really good luck with watercolor pencils. I guess I don't really know what to do with them. Anyway, so I'm just gonna start building in some of the black spots in here and try to give it a soft edge. Like that. Suzanne says, I made mine with 600 thread count pillowcases and made some for seniors with lower thread counts. I think government should have asked anyone with a sewing machine to chip in. Well, we didn't really have government do that, but there were some local organizations that did like whole mask and that made, you know, masks and also gowns for like healthcare workers, but like not frontline, like people who were working in like homeless shelters and old age homes, like when they were just focused on only giving in 95s to like nurses in hospitals. So outside of COVID wards, basically. So this came up to the edge, so now I'm cleaning that up a little. But there we go. There we go. We have a tar spot. I never use them that often, but colored pencils and watercolors are my favorite mediums, so they intrigue me. Yeah, they intrigue me too, but like I've really struggled to like figure out how they fit in, you know, like I understand colored pencils. I don't use them much anymore. I'm really focused on watercolor these days, but like I used to use colored pencils a lot. And I understand watercolor, but like I find that, I don't know, I really struggle with watercolor pencils. Like I've seen some really beautiful things done with them. I just have never quite figured out how to master them. I didn't make my circle large enough on that one. That's a little disappointing. I have to edit that back again later. And this comes down further over here. Then over here, we have some more. And some more of the green. Get some more in here. And is my arch just gone bad, or why it has this odd smell when I wet it? That's weird. Never seen it have odd smells. I've definitely had Arch's paper go bad though. But not with odd smells, just. Okay, so then there's that. Your paper has gone bad. Yeah, so the sizing on watercolor paper can, if there's like cycles and humidity, it can sort of like come out of the paper and then you get splotchiness and things don't distribute properly. A bit moldy, musky smell. Oh, like it's actually gone bad. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Okay, yeah, that does sound like paper that's like properly gone like moldy. That's really weird. Is your closet really humid? Okay, I'm gonna work on these bits now. Turn this over this way so I have some more access. Central heated house is dry as desert. Weird. All right, well, good luck with that. makes this even odder. Not all sheets smell like only the top 2 ones. That's so weird. That is very strange. Okay, well that's something I have never experienced, guys. This is all new to me. What is the sizing in ours? Just gelatin? Yeah. Yeah, it is. And it's also internally and externally sized. So it's got sizing built into the paper and then it's brushed on afterwards as well. And it's both soaked into the paper and on top. And it's the external sizing, I think, that tends to sort of slide off and go weird. But usually when paper goes off, it doesn't actually go off. Like, I've had paper, you know, I have a sketchbook with Arches paper that has gone off where it's not, like, it just soaks up paint in a really patchy, weird way, but it doesn't smell. Oh boy, we are really gonna have a storm. Yeah, okay. There's like a nice wind coming in. I'm gonna close the windows actually in this room before things start really blowing around. Vegan paper artistico has a grain that looks like fish scales, go figure. Oh, is Fabriano artistico vegan? I was not aware. Cool. Nice. This week my town has been having very brutal, unforgiving storms. Nantua is also vegan. I think I did know that. I wasn't aware that Artistico was vegan. Cool. Good to know. Sorry, I can move that back up. I think the temp has peaked. My recycled stuff in the kitchen is scattered like bowling pins. I will close my windows pretty soon. Yeah, so I've just closed the ones in my studio, so you won't hear as much traffic or wind noise anymore. The other windows in our house are still open, but my husband will close them once the storm actually comes. Now I'm sniffing my watercolor paper collection. First paint and then paper. Yes, Cyan, you mentioned that that Perylene Green Deep from Roman Schmal Aquarius has a unique smell, and like, you know, you mentioned it a couple of times, and then I actually went and sniffed it, and it's like, it smells like pastry. It's ridiculous. If you can hear thunder, the lightning can hit you. It really spreads. Well, I'm not hearing anything yet, but like really bad storms are predicted, so. I guess I should have, well. Speaking of which, Cyan, how was your sauna night? I'm sorry that I always coincide with it. Friday seemed like a day where I could have an afternoon stream and, you know, catch you all, but you always have that conflict. Rain, 40% chance in afternoon, 90% chance in evening. Yep, indeed. It was a really beautiful day though. Like, during the daytime we took that walk, it was so nice. Jill says, hello everyone, sorry I'm late. Oh, hi Jill. Lovely to see you, hear you, chat with you. No problem. How was your week? Or your last couple weeks, because I didn't stream last week. And I was sort of in and out of F's stream as well. Great, mother-in-law had made some brownies and her cat is cute as cuddly as ever. Aww! Brownies sound delicious. Okay, and then over here we have these. Then we're gonna do these things. I went through most of Springer Park today. Still nice looking, but the trees are more skeletal looking than even a few days ago. Yeah, it's surprising how much it changes, huh? Today we went on a walk through just the Mount Hope cemetery. That's where we went today. And that's still looking pretty lush, but okay, sorry, I need to grab some of this because I think that I'm going to be running out of space here, so I just need to keep expanding this bit. And there's going to be some green coming in here. I maybe should have planned this more carefully. Go. And there we go. Let's grow in here. Let's grab in there some green. I've been busy attaching a wire mesh to a rabbit cage to make it hamster safe. It's coming along, but my hands are sore now. My hands are always sore halfway through a drawing. My back used to get sore through painting, but not anymore because I've got wonderful meds. I love the fall trees in the Beaver Valley near Georgian Bay, but there's very little area to pull over and photograph. Lovely drive though, I guess. I don't own a car, so I'm not driving anywhere. Oh yeah, are the meds still good? The meds are amazing. They're so great. Oh my goodness. Okay, this is Hi, come to my art stream and listen to me tell you about my antidepressants and how good they are. Yeah, I'm on venlafaxine, which was prescribed for anxiety, and it's I think it's doing something probably for anxiety, but mostly it's doing so much, like where it's having a huge effect is it right away it killed off my my muscle pain. So it's maybe having a little bit of effect on ADHD. It seems to be having an effect on anxiety a decent amount, but I had so much pain. Like I was in chronic pain, and it was to the point where I couldn't feel like regular pain inputs, where I would I'd mangle my foot by kicking or tripping over something, and it would be full of blood and I wouldn't be able to feel it. And I wouldn't be able to feel it because I was like in so much other chronic pain. And like within days, my back just completely loosened up. I'm just like so much more comfortable. My mind is so much clearer because I'm not, you know, distracted by pain all the time. And yeah, so the meds are great. It is like really, really, really impressive. Yeah. Barbie says, hello, Lee, nice maple leaf. Thank you, Barbie. And hello. Jill says, I adore watching other artists paint really detailed things. I have no patience for it myself. Yay, 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 yay. So glad the meds are still going well, Lee. Thanks, Jill. Yeah, I guess that's also kind of interesting where like, I do paint really detailed things, but like my other diagnosis, I also have ADHD. So it's interesting because it's just like different people have different patients, different like things that interest them. So I don't find painting details terribly like taxing on my patients at all, because each little bit is different. But I would find, like I found, for example, I had trouble with things like colored pencil, because colored pencil, like you just have one pencil, so you're like making the same motion over and over again, so you can't like, to fill an area with a colored pencil takes a long time. Yeah, different people have different like types of patients, I guess. Steven says, there's some online imagery of the Beaver Valley. I'll look it up. It's pretty nice. Or you can link it on the Discord. Harvey says, hi, Evan, everyone. Steven says, I follow an artist on Facebook, Mark Boges, who really has a knack for putting some really sharp detail and some looser looking overall. Yeah, so a lot of like the trick to making something look like appropriately detailed, like make it look realistic, is to know where not to put your detail. And you know, that's something that I'm still working on, for sure, but it is really impressive when people can just like, you know, throw together something really quickly and then just throw in a few little details, and they're just like the right spots of detail that make the whole thing pop. Suzanne says, glad to hear that, Lee. I self-medicate with HTP5. Works for me. What's HTP5? Yeah, this isn't, I'm not self-medicating. I mean, I definitely did experiment with like, could I self-medicate? Because even getting a diagnosis was just chasing forever. I have a positive ANA, so presumably I have some kind of autoimmune disease. At one point they thought it was lupus, but all of my other blood markers were coming back normal, so they said it's probably lupus and this probably is symptoms, but because we don't have any clear blood reads, you know, it'll get worse, and then we'll know, and then we'll treat it, which is really frustrating. So it's been about a year of like, you know, I haven't been in great health for some time, but it's been about a year where I was like really struggling, and getting any kind of help was challenging. But then I did, and it turned out that it was of all the health professionals, it was the psychiatrist who got me the medication that really made the biggest difference. So that was a bit surprising, because it's like, it's not, you know, It is helping with anxiety, but it's also helping with chronic pain. And like, that's the more notable one, in my opinion. Yeah, it says it's never lupus. Yeah, I mean, now I have all kinds of questions because my ANA is still positive. So like, should I be expecting something to rear its ugly head now? Or is that just like a red herring and actually it was never lupus? I don't know. Because they weren't even sure. Like they said, okay, well, this is most likely lupus given your set of symptoms, but given family history, it could be rheumatoid arthritis, it could be whatever. Like, okay, but I'm in pain. Like, fix me. Anyway, so that was frustrating, but now I'm treated and I feel so much better. Val says, my mom is using the vacuum so I can hardly hear anything well. Well, I don't know that you're missing much. Me ranting about health diagnoses or lack thereof. Yeah. Steven says, I haven't read it yet, but I'm interested in the gut health book, Fiber Fueled. Cool. Yeah, and then a little bit more of the orange. And we are going to start painting in this area and in here. Let's try that. So you can see this I painted real size and see how it's already shrinking and it's smaller. And then we're gonna start putting in some of this, maybe some of this. Get you a little bit darker. HTP5 ox tryptophan, just something from health food stores that helps to live steer it, but not good to drink with it. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I think most, like, the venlafaxine I'm on is an antidepressant, but likewise, like it's like alcohol would make it would tend to make me drowsy. I don't drink anyway, so it's amazing how quickly and how much it shrinks, right? Yeah, like you've been watching this. I'm not making this up. They do shrink. Okay. Likewise here, I can do this thing where I do this and paint this here. And so you'll see that I'm leaving these lines fairly bare, but then once I go back, I'll go in and paint them in, and they'll just pop right out once I paint them in. Gabor says, hi Leonel, I'm a bit late, I guess. Yeah, a little. It's fine. I am sort of probably close to wrapping up here. But I've been painting an autumn leaf. Gabor, by the way, I just mailed you some stuff. I was a little late getting that out, but it's out now, so there's some stuff on its way to you. So here I had a mix that's sort of it's a purple with the perylene green. Over on this side, I'm going to make a deeper black mix by using, this is a reddish tone, it's a carmine, and add in some more of that green. And I'm going to use that to make some really deep dark blacks and fill in the inner area of these blacks. So I am leaving still an opening here. What are the black spots on the leaf? These are called tar spots, and they're a bacterial infection that affects some kinds of maples. It seems to be mostly affecting Norway maples. Sometimes I see them on sugar maples, less frequently it seems on things like red maples and silver maples. They don't really seem to hurt the tree too terribly much. They're just, yeah. Ha! And I thought I was going to do more than one leaf. Here I've been like just fiddling with one leaf for going on 2.5 hours now. Okay, so now I'm going to let these dry and start working in some of the veins with a smaller brush. And so, yeah, I feel like this could actually afford to be a little bit closer in, like I've left too much. So I'm just gonna start this here. What am I doing? I don't like this color that I've created here. Getting a little distracted. Okay, well, this will have to do. It's a little less bright than I wanted it to be, though. That's okay. Just gonna have to deal. Okay, so then let's start working on some of the details with a smaller brush. So up in here, we have this, which is just going to be a nice thin line. And this one is about the same color, so I don't really need to worry about it. I'm just going to give this, I feel like I'm losing some definition here. Sometimes this happens, so like this is part of what happens when you get paper that's gone a little too bad, where it's getting a little fuzzy and losing some definition. Just not ideal. Not really thrilled with that. But, you know, it's okay. Okay, so then we have here, and then over on the other side, sort of peek at this. So here we're gonna have one that's got a little bit more red in the yellow area. I'm just gonna test that over here. And then we're gonna add a little bit of green just to define on either side of that. And just a tiny bit here, and just tighten that up. Sorry, I'm running off the table, I just realized. Have I missed your videos lately? Do you have any plans for new ones? Yeah, I've been missing your videos as well, Ev. I know that you're struggling right now with, like, because Mr. E is also at home with getting your video on. I know that can be awkward. So then this one, again, we're gonna run here, just fill it in here. And this is gonna self-line. And here. There we go. Off screen. Oh, like I was migrating my paper increasingly off screen. I think I'm back on now. Picking now has the change from outside temperature to greenhouse effect. I'm closing the windows. Yes. Yeah, thanks. I have a few videos underway, but struggle to find moments to finish them. Also busy with Caturday, but that's almost done. Oh my goodness, it's almost the end of October. Wow. Halloween has been very quiet this year. Yeah, well, we're not supposed to be doing Halloween this year because of pandemic, so like there's not supposed to be like trick-or-treating or anything happening. I mostly stopped the daily Inktober landscapes. I have some bigger landscape plans to pursue that don't fit into the daily schedule. Yes, so that's what I found when I did a daily challenge, was that after a while I realized that really I'd like to be doing more, like somewhat more involved things, and that doing something daily is like, it's a great practice if you're like, if you struggle to get yourself motivated to paint every day, but that in general I prefer to do things that take longer than one day, and that's kind of a problem if you're doing a daily challenge, because that sort of eats up all your energy. So I can totally empathize with that. So now I'm just adding in some a little bit more shading and details, and adding in these veins. Halloween is the best time of the year, in my opinion, so I'm a bit bummed. Free candy, horror, spooky drawings, etc. I just love Halloween a lot. I love Halloween too. Halloween's a great time of year, great holiday. I find drawing daily to be stressful. I prefer taking breaks. Yeah, I mean, I think the habit of making art every day is great. Although I think that once you're in that habit, you know, it's fine to have a day or two or, you know, a week where you're not doing something. I also think that, you know, it's valuable to have these daily challenges where you make something every day, but on the other hand, like, some of the best work is going to take longer than a day, so yeah, I have mixed feelings about it. I did a very long daily art project once, and that was enough. Okay, so just a few more little details in here to get this sort of popping, and then I'll be calling this done soon. So yeah, hope you've all been enjoying this. I found this lots of fun. I think it's food time for me. Thanks, Lee. Thanks, everyone. Great to see you, Stephen. Thanks for joining. Don't forget to hit like. And we can chat throughout the week. Okay, so I'm gonna start drawing in some lines here. And there's also some there, some there, some there, there. I should stop reading the news. I get so down. It's a terrible addiction, isn't it, Paolo? Steven says, thanks, liked hours ago, by the way. Well, thank you. Everyone else, hit like. Reading news is like social media. It always makes you focus on the negative. Yeah. And yet I keep doing it to myself. No good. Okay. Really enjoyed this, Lee. Thank you. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you. Thanks for joining. This piece of news was about a restaurant, not the usual COVID fake news things. The news doesn't print. Plane lands safely. Sometimes I need that kind of news, or like, you know, puppies are cute and etc. Yeah, I definitely fall into the trap of like, let's check what's going on in the world. Oh wait, it's terrible. It's always terrible. Why do I do this to myself? But what can you do? It's life, right? Anyway, we're getting there with this painting. Yeah. Damn, it hit me hard. Yeah, sorry, Paolo. There's been some like really upsetting local news too, where like things are closing because of COVID, and like, you know, like nice restaurants and stuff, and like family businesses. Which sucks. These firemen with a basket of puppies channel could work. Yeah, why not? Sometimes that's what I need in my life. I can't help myself. I just keep checking, like, oh, well, what's going on in the world today? I wonder if there's any, you know, what's new. And it's never good. It's never good. And in this year, it's gotten worse. All right. Almost there. Almost there. I get to this point in a painting where I'm like, this is where I'm beginning to get a little bit impatient. So I think this is actually the point where I'm just going to walk away from it for a little bit. I might touch it up just a tiny bit in a little while, but I think this is about the end of this painting. So thank you for joining me, everyone. This was really fun, and I'll see you next week, and I'll paint something again, or something. Jill says I'd watch that channel. Student says lol. Val says recently I've been intrigued by Lovecraft works. The only thing good from this year is that Trump has to try to win the election again. Goodbye, guys. Yeah, I can't think about elections right now. I watched the debates yesterday, or some of them anyway. I ended up having to tab away. That was quite enough election for me. I'm glad that we're yeah, anyway. I'm quite done with politics and whatever. I'll talk to you all later. See you next week. Bye-bye. Like, subscribe. Come join us on Discord if you haven't already. Links in the description. Yeah. I just hope Biden wins. Yeah, well, you know, maybe in a couple weeks we'll have a different perspective on this year. But right now, this year has been something terrible. Anyway, bye everyone.